It's Jon Vertigan from Melbourne's Easy Music 3MP for Tobin Brothers' Say It Now campaign. I've had a career in radio which has spanned for 30 years, and I probably owe it all to one fella who was pretty instrumental when I was growing up. As a matter of fact, he was responsible for me growing up. Not that I think I have grown up, but he was there for the start, and he was in radio for a number of years himself, more than 50 years in the radio industry, mainly in Melbourne. My dad, Jon Vertigan Senior, he called me Jonathan, and I shortened Jonathan to John for the radio because it was a bit catchier, but it's caused confusion within the radio industry since 1992. So I've probably got a bone to pick with him about that. But here to thank him and to say it now to Jon Vertigan Senior. So 53 years you did it for?
53 years, yes. I put on this old voice, but I think my voice is still younger than what my age is.
Well, they say that. Yeah, the amount of times throughout my career where people have said to me, "Oh, you're the son of the golden voice in radio." And I said, "Yeah, that's me. One day I might get that golden voice, but it hasn't quite happened yet."
No, but it will. And of course mine... Oh, yes, it'll come. And of course mine is now deteriorating to the point where it might be termed as being brass rather than gold.
Do you look back at your career with fondness, like you cherish every moment that you had in the business?
No, there were times that things were a bit tough, and the money was never great. I think it's improved now. Otherwise,
no, it hasn't.
You wouldn't be in it.
That's the thing. We do it for the love of it. I remember when when you saw that this was the path that I was wanting to take. I remember saying to you, "What do you reckon?" And you said, "Well, as long as you're not doing it for the money, and you're doing it for the love,
exactly,
then that's the important thing."
Yeah.
Which is true.
Well, and with any luck, the money will come later anyway.
Well.
Didn't for me, but it probably will for you.
But if you love your job, you don't have to work a day in your life. Isn't that what they say?
No, no, and that's part of it. I mean, I look back on the 53 years and trotting into work every day, or practically every day, 6 days a week at one stage, and you wonder where the time went.
Do you still have nightmares? Because I have them regularly about playing the record and the record fading out and you not being able to put the next event on air. Does that happen to you still?
Not specifically, but the nightmares I have had, and they're repeated, is being late for work and rushing around.
But were you ever late for work in your 53 years? So where does that come from?
I don't know. But I mean, I'm not into interpreting dreams, but there's got to be some reason for it.
But you've given me some very valuable advice over the years, and I know that I've often phoned you and picked your brains about certain things.
Is that where my brains went? You picked them.
Jesus, that's a terrible, terrible dad jokes, which you can hear every Friday morning on Easy Music 3MP.
Melbourne's Easy Music 3MP, Chris Rea, full if you think it's over, 8:11 with John and Julie. It's Dad Joke Friday!
Yay!
It's our favourite time of the week where we get my old man on, Jon Vertigan Senior. Now, Dad spent 53 years in the radio industry. 3 years there in Melbourne.
53 years!
Oh, there he is.
There he is. Good morning.
Old man voice. How are you, Dad?
Good morning. How are you, Julie?
Yeah, super well, thank you kindly. Hope you're well there in Rye.
Not a problem, no. I'm going on all fours.
All four
And
cylinders.
John, good morning to you.
I hope he's not on all
I don't
fours.
want to picture that. Yeah, that's kind of a bit weird, Dad, but that's all good. Now, Dad Joke Friday is where you try and tickle our fancy with a dad joke or two. What have you got for us today?
Okay. My friends and I have named our band Doona. It's a cover band.
It's a cover. Okay.
That's all right.
Yeah, all right. Need another one, though.
Next.
Yeah.
Speaking of music, Bono and The Edge walk into a Dublin bar and the bartender says, "Oh, no, not you two again."
Oh, excellent. A modern music reference. Jon Vertigan Senior, you are on fire.
Quality this morning from you, Dad. That's very good. Take a...
I'm so much on fire that my neighbours have tried to put me out.
Now, we didn't ask for the third. That was just a value add
okay.
this morning. Have a great weekend. Love you, and we'll talk again soon.
Love you, and likewise.
It's the Sea of Love with the Honey Drippers. Easy Music 3MP.
So I grew up with radio in my blood and in my house as a young child and teenager. There were radios on in every room of the house, and I just grew a great love for the medium and knew that's what I wanted to do when I left school. And so much so I used to ring up radio stations persistently as a teenager and win prizes. I actually won a significant amount of prizes from Melbourne radio as a teenager, and recently created a podcast called I Was a Teenage Prize Pig. Look it up, download it on your favourite podcast app, I Was a Teenage Prize Pig, and some cringeworthy audio of me as a prepubescent teenage boy ringing up winning prizes from Melbourne radio announcers, and then I catch up with them 30 years down the track to apologise for being a teenage prize pig. It's a bit of fun.
3XY 1422, there's Robert Palmer, who's simply irresistible. Jonathan Vertigan from Glen Waverley's on the phone tonight, and John went back to school today. How was it, John?
Oh, pretty average, a bit boring, but still I've got to go back sometime.
That's right. You loaded down with homework first day back, were you?
Oh, not much, but just a bit.
That's good. Well, at least they've given you the opportunity to take a few minutes off to play Chart Attack with us tonight and give you 10 seconds to name as many as you can. You ready, John?
Yep.
Your time starts now.
Good morning, Vietnam. So truck web with me, Sonora emergencies. How long could it charge the W? Push button if you know somebody.
Hang on, John. Hang on. Now, listen. You're just going too fast. We can't understand a word you're saying.
Okay.
So if you could just pull it back a little bit. I know you're trying to squeeze in as many as you can into the 10 seconds, but we really need to be able to understand every word clearly.
But I just loved radio, and it's all I wanted to do. And 30 years down the track, I've been doing it now. Got my first job in Swan Hill in 1992 as an 18-year-old boy, and learned a lot there in my first couple of years in radio, and travelled all around regional Victoria, and ended up getting a gig in Melbourne in 2001 at Mix 101.1 at the time, and went to Sydney. And I've been to Warrnambool since then, and back in Melbourne now at Easy Music 3MP, hosting The Breakfast Show, which is a lot of fun, and I just love it. I remember the first piece of advice you gave me was you tell me what the first piece of advice you gave me was.
Okay. The best ad-lib is a written ad-lib. In other words, don't rely all the time on top-of-the-head stuff or stuff you're ad-libbing, literally ad-libbing, but have something prepared, and then you can deliver it as though it were an ad-lib.
Know where you're going to go with it.
Exactly. And your on-air partner's got to know too. She's got to be in on it, and you plan that way, and I'm sure that's what you do.
Usually.
Okay. Sometimes flying by the seat of your pants.
Sometimes it's better that way.
Yeah, true.
Can you look at a 30-second script and tell by just looking at it if it's over or under?
Probably, well, I was able to, but it's been, well, I got out in 2008. So how long is that?
Now, you're known as the headmaster in the industry as well. You're very fanatical about the English language and grammar.
Yes.
Did you ever read a script and correct the grammar as you went?
I can't recall having done that, but I probably have. In fact, the person who gave me the name Headmaster was none other than the late Bert Newton.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, he was on air one day at UZ, and I heard him say, "In actual fact." And during a commercial break, I went into the studio and I said, "I've just heard you say, in actual fact." That is a tautology. It's either actual or it's a fact. It can't be both.
Yeah, fair point.
And he said, "Oh, thank you, Headmaster." And the name stuck. Jon Jr. was always a very radio type of person. Even when he was a little kid. When he first discovered that Dad was in radio, he started to take a lot of interest in it. And of course, as a teenager, he won a lot of prizes on radio at night. He'd ring up and be the first or the third or whatever. And he also won a trip to America. And, you know, his career since has just gone on and blossomed. And I'm very, very proud of him.
Dad, for a significant part of your career, you were in racing radio as Chief Racing Coordinator at the Greater 3EZ.
Yes, it started way back when Bert Bryant was still calling races, and you would never have heard Bert, but I will be rectifying that shortly because I've got recordings of him. But a lot of people thought I was a race caller. I've never called a race in my life. I wouldn't know how to.
You're a racing coordinator, so you'd be in the studio saying they're set to go at Moonee Valley.
Exactly.
Numbers official at Doonbin.
You're putting all the jigsaw together. However, speaking of race calling, you've done a little bit of yourself that came as a bit of a surprise to me when it first happened.
Not real race calling.
They're loading the last of them in now for the Christmas Day Family Cup. Late scratching at the barrier here. Brother-in-law is out because he's going to his family's for lunch. He might come round for tea, we'll see. Socks and Jocks gets another go this year, and I Need a Nananap, popular with the older punters. Lights are on, flashing and looking very pretty, and they're racing. Socks and Jocks missed the start, sort of got wedged out of the barrier with Chris Kringle. Moving forward was Pulma Bonbon, and Uncle Kevin smashed, goes straight to the front with Too Much Champers and over-opinionated sister-in-law.
So the whole idea of the Tobin Brothers Say It Now campaign is for me to say it now to you before it's too late. Not that you're going anywhere.
Well, if I am going anywhere, it'll be probably before you.
You never know, I suppose. But for me to say it now, I want to say thank you for being you and for helping me more than you'll ever know with my life and my career. I love you very much, and that's me saying it now.
And I'm saying it now too because I love all my children. And
which one do you love the best?
This is a picture of the kids from 1976-ish. Glenn, Lisa, myself and Sue. And flashing forward to 2018, here we are at Dad's 80th.
I can't say that, but no, you are special because you were a one-off. You're the one that went into the media, into radio, and I say it now. I love you very much.
No. Hug it out.
Hug it out. Yes.
How you really feeling? What's there in your heart right